Before the crime came the drawing. Before the tape came the child. Before the loop came the first witness. It started with a phone call. A teacher, voice shaking, reported something off. A 9-year-old student had handed in a sketch. An apartment floor plan drawn to scale. It wasn't homework. It wasn't innocent. It was a crime scene. Blood. A woman. Worse, the crime hadn't happened yet, but it would. Exactly 3 days later, at 3:13, a Mumlet child's name was Daniel Keene. Yes, Keene. Same surname as Agent Lila Keene from... She didn't talk about it. Not publicly. Not even in the bureau. But some in the agency whispered, she's not just investigating the loop. She was born inside it. The drawing was done in pencil. But there was one red detail. A smudge of crayon blood across the figure's head. A woman, laying face down. Window shattered. Tape recorder drawn next to her ear. Labeled only Loop 003. In the corner of the page, Daniel's neat handwriting. He said it would happen. He said I had to draw it, or I'd forget. The school called Daniel's mother. She was confused. She said he had been sleepwalking again, mumbling things, talking in a deeper voice at night, repeating numbers. 3, 13, Loop 3, Loop 3. She assumed it was a video game. The bureau took the case quietly. They visited the apartment from Daniel's drawing and found it already rented to a woman named Tessa Malik. Tessa had never met Daniel, lived in another city, but her apartment matched the sketch exactly, even down to the small crack in the window frame, which had never been reported. 3 days later, at 3:13 a.m., the precinct received a call. Woman found dead in her apartment. Blood loss. Back of the skull crushed. Window shattered. And beside her body, a cassette tape. Label, Loop 003. The bureau brought Daniel in for questioning. Not as a suspect, not as a witness, but as a conduit. Interviewer, Daniel. Where did you see the drawing before it happened? Daniel. I didn't see it. I heard it. Interviewer. Heard what? Daniel, the man in the walls. He tells me what to draw. He doesn't have a face. Daniel described the man as a voice that lives behind vents, under the floor, inside cassette machines. He sounds like my dad, but sometimes he sounds like me, but older. He said the man whispered the entire layout to him, that if he didn't draw it, he'd wake up screaming, that once it's drawn, the nightmares stop for a while. Agent Keene, shaken, returned to her own storage unit. Inside, dozens of Daniel's early drawings. Some were from when he was 5. One showed a tall man in a police station. The words scribbled underneath, 9 words, red light. He came from the loop. Another, dated a full year before the events of Loop 1, depicted 2 identical men standing in different buildings at once. The note, one is always not real. But both are true. The agency now believes something deeper. The loop didn't start with tapes. It started with perception. Children, specifically. Some of them see it. Some hear it. Like Daniel. Some are used to anchor their recordings. They don't remember later, but they carry fragments. Who no longer remember drawing the crime scene at all. The loop 003 tape was transferred to a secure analog lab. When they hit play, static, breathing, then the voice, she tried to warn the child. She stepped out of sequence. The loop corrected her. It ended with a laugh, childlike, soft, unnervingly familiar. They ran it through spectral analysis. 2 voices, overlaid. One was the same male from previous loops. The second, Daniel, but aged at least 25 years older. A pencil still in his hand. Another drawing. That night, Daniel's mother found him asleep on the living room floor, curled up, an old man, blindfolded, walking into traffic.